people don't think about that, what effect it might have on other people. And so, when you go to these like protests and you see some of these people that are damaging buildings, my question would be, well, if you knew one of those buildings was your dad's or somebody, you probably wouldn't go and do anything about it or cause destruction, because now you can internalize something. So the same would be it burns me up because you go down the highway and people are throwing garbage out, right? I said, well, would you throw garbage out right in the middle of your living room and just leave it there? No, because you can internalize something that affects you and you do something about it. So we got to get outside our own internal domain and think about our actions and what they might do externally and think about it as it was internal, if that makes sense.
Yes. So how can one person actually make a difference in changing culture?
Well, it's a process. The process is really, and I ask this question all the time, why were you born? And I give presentations on it. Why did God put you on this earth? And a lot of people can't answer that question. And my answer is, God put me on this earth to serve other people. And by serving other people, I serve myself. And that's the whole premise on this. So if you think about what you can do to help other people and to give a damn about other people and how they do their work or how they can contribute to making their life successful, how you can do the kind of things that can make them happier, doing all these what I call give a damn attitudes, having an attitude of gratitude, thanking people, then your life is going to improve. There's a study that was done by Ohio State University, and that study showed that people who are more religious actually live 4 years longer than people who are not. Mm-hmm. And I go, well, why is that the case? I said, my own personal reasoning for that is, the reason why that's the case is because when you are religious, you have someone that you can gravitate to, that can make you feel good, believing in God. And just say, when you have problems, you pray or you believe, and it reduces the amount of stress in your body. The number one disease in America is stress, because that leads to everything else. So if you have something you can grab onto that can make you feel better, you're going to live a better and healthier life. And so that's the reason why I think religion, which we have gotten away from in this country, needs to come back, because it'll help people overall.
I agree with you. So what's one lesson from your career that changed the way you look at people in leadership?
Well, one lesson that I learned is when it comes to leadership is very important is when you're looking to hire somebody in your company, you hire for culture and you train for skill. It's a really important aspect of it. Hire for culture, train for skill. And a lot of leaders don't do that. When people apply for a position, they have a skill that brings with them. So you can teach people how to increase their skill level, help them grow. But a lot of times you can't teach them over time what kind of attitude that comes into the company. So you want to hire those people that have that family-driven attitude, have that caring attitude, having that attitude of gratitude that can help the company grow. And I've developed a very special, what I call the unthinkable approach to hiring that can actually tell you a lot about a person's and what their attitude, how they handle stress, how they'll fit into their culture by simply asking one or two prompts. And it's very unique. It's been very, very successful, and it's designed really to hire for that culture and not so much for skill.
Oh, okay. So what do you hope readers take away after finishing your book?
Well, what I want them to think about after they read the book, there's many examples about how you can give a damn, how you can portray the give a damn attitude in your daily life. And there's many examples in there, but my primary purpose for this is to start thinking about how your actions affect other people and whether those actions you would do to your own family member. Would you be willing to go public with what you're doing, or would you be willing to do the same thing to the person that you love? So you have to get outside that external factor and think more internally and how that can extrapolate into the external environment. So think about one thing you can do each day that can improve the life of not only yourself, but also of others. It's a perfect example. A lot of people, when you go to the grocery store, they leave the shopping cart right in the middle of the parking. Mm-hmm. They can travel 15, 20 yards and bring it back to the grocery store or put it in a rack where it's designed for. But a lot of people don't do that. I see that you see shopping carts all over the place.
Yeah.
Why don't they just take and put the shopping cart back where it belongs instead of just leaving it out for somebody else to do? And someone will say, well, they have store employees to do that. That's not the purpose. The purpose is you got to do the right thing.
Right.
And a lot of people, here's another thing that really people need to think about. Most people do the wrong thing because they can justify it in their mind as being right. Now think about that. The guy with the shopping cart won't put it back because there's an employee that's in there that can do it anyway. Well, that's not the right way to think.
That's true.
The right thing is to put it in there and don't justify wrong things or lazy things that you would do because you can justify an action for some other reason, if that makes sense.
No, that